Hey guys, Paranoid here, coming at you with a Path of Exile 2 video. In this video, I want to go through and kind of talk about if you are struggling with currency, maybe you are starting a new character, or decided to join the early access later on in the cycle. So if you've been playing the game since the launch of early access, you know that the inflation has gone crazy and the price of exalts to divines, which if we go check the currency exchange, I haven't looked at them yet today, but a divine orb for exalted, when I first started, this was running somewhere about anywhere from 90 to 118 by the time I actually started really seeing and knowing what divine orbs are, because I'm not a hardcore play 12 hours a day. I am a dad gamer. I play when I have the chance and when I have the opportunity to. You can see now the exalted orbs are up to 273 per divine. They had actually gotten over 300 per divine. So it can be difficult to go through and get that currency and get it built up. So what I wanted to do, I know that if you've gone through and you've watched, you've seen some of the videos about the different ways of making currency, and one of them that everybody always points out is the ultimatums. The inscribed ultimatums are a great way to make currency. It's actually the way that I went through and built up my first batch of currency so that then I could continue on, get further through, upgrade my gear so that I could push further into maps. I'm now running tier 17s, no problem. 18s, I can get through them, but that's a little bit more of a push. I definitely have some upgrades that I still need to do on my gear. You can see I do not have a ingenuity belt. My rings are definitely not optimal. There are a lot of areas and places that I could definitely make some upgrades to my gear. But this is what I have for now, and I am working to build up my currency even further. You can see right now I'm at 15 divines. I have the 82 exalted there. I do, however, have in my stash and as Kappa, which is almost 3 divines at the time. I'm kind of holding on to that one for now. Not sure whether I want to socket it into my Muahadel's machination or not, or if I want to keep it just with the mana that's in there, because the mana, obviously, I am at a full mana build on my Stormweaver, sitting currently at 5,063 mana, which is about 1,000 less than I would like to be at. Again, that's just going to come from those upgrades. That's going to help me be more tanky, increase the amount of that mana regeneration percentage, which is then going to make it feel better and not like I'm running out of mana. But what I wanted to do is the comparison of, because most of the videos that you're going to see are talking about running the 10 rooms and then doing the trial master at the end of it and the different things like that. And it is absolutely great currency that you can farm and that you can get from there. But if you're still trying to build your power up, getting through all 10 rooms can be pretty difficult. So I'm going to go through and run 10 4 rooms. I'm going to run 10 7 rooms, and I'm going to run 10 area level 80 10 rooms. On the 10 rooms, if I get the pieces dropped to run the trial master, I'm going to go ahead and run the trial master to see if I can get any of the drops from him. Obviously, know that you could go through, and if you didn't want to run the trial master and weren't worried about the drops that he has, you could sell your fragments. The Cowardly Fate is currently running about 33 per fragment. The Deadly Fate, which is the more rare one to get, is running at about 80 per fragment. And the Victorious Fate is running at about 28 per fragment. So once you get to the point that you're running 10 rooms, you absolutely could just keep these, turn around, take them to the currency exchange and sell them. Now, the other thing that I really like about this method is everything that we're going to get from here. Obviously, there's the chance to have some drops that maybe we could go through and those drops be usable or sellable. If I get some of the drops when I'm running the 80s, I'm obviously going to list them and make a profit off of them, but I'm not going to count that in the currency that I make just from doing these trials. And I just want to give you the comparison of where that would put you at if you are only at a power level to be able to run the the 4 room version, versus if you've worked up to where you can run the 7 room version, versus once you get to where you can actually run 10 rooms and complete them. I'm going to keep all of the soul cores that I earned from that separate, so that then we can go through and we can trade those soul cores in and see exactly how much currency that works out to be, so that you'll know if this is a farming strategy. Like I said, if you're newer to the early access, if you've just started on the early access, if you're doing a new character, if you're just needing to build currency up, you will know how much currency you can get from doing the 4 room and building up, how much currency you can get from doing the 7 room and building up, and then how much currency you can get from the 10 room and building up. It's also, I think, going to be a great way when the new league comes out, that if you already have in your mind and have a plan on running this and the currency that you're going to be able to generate from this, to get you a little bit of a jump start on that next build when that league starts. Because obviously, the earlier you can get to end game, the easier, the more your currency is going to be worth. If you're one of the first people there generating larger amounts of the currency, it's going to go further than once more people get into the end game and they're generating that currency. It dilutes the pool, which then drops the value and lowers the value of that currency, which is kind of what we're seeing now with the exalts, especially after the most recent patch. Um, Exalts, it's with just 100 rarity. It's really not unlikely, if you're running a T15 map, to pick up 2 to 3 exalts at 100 rarity per map that you run. So you definitely can get those exalts pretty quick. Um, we'll go over in a later video as far as dump tabs and how to use those to your benefit. So I know that when I first got started, I wound up spending more time trying to sell items and price items and different things like that, than I was playing the game. And I'm playing the game because I enjoy the game and want to play the game, not because I want to price items out and run a storefront. So with a dump tab, you put it in, you drop the price over time. Eventually it'll sell, or it won't. Once it gets to the bottom price that you're like, you know what, at this point, it's not worth me selling, then you take it over, you vendor it, you get the gold from it, or you can disenchant it and get the fragments from it so that you can keep those other currencies up to be able to juice your items, to be able to, if you want to try some and see if you get lucky on a couple of rolls on some items that you pick up, or, more importantly, to juice your maps and make sure that you're getting the most out of the maps that you possibly can. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and run these 30 inscribed ultimatums, and we will check back in once that is done so we can see what the profit breakdown was from each one of the tiers, so you'll have an idea of how that breaks down based on your power level and what you're able to do comfortably. One of the most important things is being able to get through and make sure that you can complete that trial. Because if you die to, let's say you're doing the 7 room and you die to that last boss, then all the rewards that you had up to that point, you're not getting them. You're not getting the soul cores. You're not getting any of that. So if all you can do comfortably without dying is the 4 room, then run the 4 room until you're able to upgrade your gear to where you can run the 7 room. It's a complete waste of time if you don't actually complete the trial. So it's kind of the big thing that I want to emphasize and stress on that. Don't go through and waste your time trying to do content that you are only able to successfully complete 50% of the time. Go to the content that you can complete 100% of the time, build that currency up, upgrade your gear, get your power up to where then that next step, you know that you're going to go through and you're going to complete it 100% of the time. With that said, I will check back in with you guys in a bit after I run these trials. Thank you. All right, guys. So we are back. Want to check in on how it went after the first 10 runs of the 4-room inscribed ultimatums. So I ran all 10 of them. Took me in total maybe 30 minutes to run the 10 rooms, 35 minutes. I did have a couple of trade offers come in that I stopped to sell those off and take care of those in the middle of it. So all total, I'd say that per ultimatum with my build that I have now maybe takes me between 5 and 7 minutes to do on the 4-room. The 7-room is going to take me about 10 minutes per ultimatum. The 10-room takes me 15 to 20 minutes, just depending on what rooms I get in there. I will say that I had a unordinarily large amount of the statue rooms in these four room ultimatums, which I absolutely hate the statue, and it just takes so long for that statue to move anywhere and add so much more time to the run. But it is what it is. So let's go through and take a look at what we got. We got this Inferno class plate belt, which is a maybe one Exalt unique, nothing, no big chase item or anything like that. There's no big money there. We got this jewel, which I've already priced out, and there's one that was listed about 18 hours ago that is very similar to this one, and it's up for 25 exalts. So anywhere I would say 10 to 25x is what I could plan on getting out of that one. It's the Trials of Chaos, so sometimes things are already corrupted. This is one of them. It was already corrupted when it dropped, which stinks because I'm missing out on being able to get that 4th modifier on there. And you can definitely get a lot of beneficial and useful stats out of the jewels. So the other jewel that I got is a 4% cast speed, which has the potential to, depending on what the second roll that hits on it is, could sell for quite a bit. So one of the things that I would recommend with jewels, you want to put your two rolls on it if it is two rolls that are very sought after. So for instance, for the sorcerer class, if it was cast speed and mana regeneration rate, at that point, I would leave it as a magic jewel and price check it and possibly list it there, because the Adorn gem allows you to basically amplify and double the effect of your socketed jewels as long as they are corrupted and magic. So if you go ahead now, if you're playing a sorceress and the cast speed is something that you need to have in your jewel slots, then obviously go ahead and build it out and do what you need to do with it. But if you're strictly looking to turn it and get some currency from it, I would price it out. See what that second roll hits. If it hits a bad second roll that's not going to make it worth any kind of currency, go ahead and fully run it up. If you wind up with 3 out of 4, you can usually still get a pretty good amount for those. But I would definitely stop at 2 and kind of take a look and see where the market is, because you might be able to fetch a good amount on trade for that, just for the people wanting to use that Adorn jewel. I did have a raw div drop in the 10 runs that I did. I had 1 raw div, which is very uncommon. But hey, I am not complaining and will absolutely take that. This is the only amulet that dropped that I did pick up. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, I hadn't even looked at it. It was unidentified. I identified it and just had it in here. The 13% increased spell damage is kind of low. The 7% increased rarity is kind of low. We can hit it. It might hit the double rarity. So on an amulet, you can have a suffix that's rarity and a prefix that's rarity where you hit a double. So it could maybe get it up into the 20 range, which then could boost it up a little bit in value, depending on what the other rolls that hit it are. I'll probably go ahead and just throw, roll it up, slam it, see if it winds up being worth anything, drop it in one of my dump tabs and see if it sells. Then I got 2 of the Soul Cores of Opalati, 4 of the Takati, 3 of the Cidaquatl, 1 of the Topatante. I got 3 Chant Shards, 3 Exalted Orbs, 3 Regal Orbs, 10 chaos orbs, and 3 vol orbs. Chaos orbs are, there is a good chance that the currency, kind of the standard currency, is going to move to that. So it's definitely good to have those chaos orbs and be building them up. They have held their value pretty well compared to what the exalted orb has done. I will say during it, my filter is set. I'm not seeing and picking up any orbs of transmutation or any orbs of augmentation. I'm sure those were dropping, but I'm just not picking those up. So let's go over. We'll check the currency exchange. Let me look at these again. It's the Opalati, Takati, Sitaquato, and Topatante. Let's just kind of see how much those are. I'm not going to trade them in yet. I'm going to do all that at once I've run all the rooms, and just see what the total on the currency is for 30 rooms. But just curious here what these are going for. So Sitaquato is bugged and always does this. The easy way around it, you can either, if you have it in your inventory, you can drag it straight from your inventory and do that, or if you're doing it this way, you can put it in like so, and then you just hit control and click and it will switch them around. You can see these are fetching 36 for one. So the fact that I got 3 of them, that's about 110 exalted right there. The Topatante running 12 for one, so now I'm up to about 48. Takati also running 12 to 1, and I got how many of those did I have? Another 4 of those. So that's 48 and 48. We are now at 96. And let's see what the Opalati is. Opalati is running 13. So 96 plus the 26 there. 122. So in that run, I made about 122 exalts. Got the one raw divine that dropped, the other currencies that did drop. So running 10 of those, which took me maybe a half hour, I made a half a div. So working out to about a div an hour, which is not a bad pace when you think about it. And I did not get one of the really OP, the S Kappa. The other ones that trade for quite a bit, if you go through and you look, are the Zalato. They're in good demand. They're obviously nowhere near the S Kappa, but the Zalato is going to fetch you 74. If you hit that jackpot and get the S Kappa, it's 663 for every S Kappa that you found. There is no set level that you have to be at for them to drop. They are completely random and any of them can drop at any time. So the amount that you're going to make per run is definitely going to vary. But I think even the cheapest one, which, if I'm remembering correctly, is this Adamoha. Nope, it's not the Adamoha. I think it's the Xantipi. So they're all bottoming out at about 12 to 1. Um, Now, I bought each of those maps because I'm at too high of a level to pick them up on. That's not what's dropping for me on the ground anymore. So I bought each of them, 1 exalt each. So that just kind of shows you if you go through and even if you only have 5 exalts to get started, what I would do is I would spend those 5 exalts, buy the inscribed ultimatums, go run 5 inscribed ultimatums. You are going to make about 11 to 1 on the exalts that you put into it. So if you put 5 into it, that means you're going to net out about 55 minimum. That's if you got all of the lowest ones. You get that Zalotl, you get that as Kappa, and it's going to significantly increase the funds that you have, which is then going to allow you to upgrade your gear, increase your power, do more content, earn more currency. Um, just like in the real world with Path of Exile 2, it takes money to make money. The more that you are able to run and do, the more currency you're going to be able to make. And so, if you want to get to those in game activities to run the pinnacle bosses, to be able to beat the pinnacle bosses, to survive 15 waves of simulacrum, in order to be able to do all of that, it's going to take significant investment to get there. I wish I could say that you could do it all with, and I mean, I guess you can because there is a solo self found, so you absolutely can do it all with everything that you just pick up off the ground, but that's going to be significantly harder to do. Whereas if you are running in a trade league, this is absolutely the route that I would go. It's going to allow you to increase your power to move your character forward much quicker. We'll come back again after I run the next 10 and we'll kind of see, for comparison's sake, when I do the 7 room in ultimatums, how much I earn on that. It should be about double, might be more because of RNG, but because I'm going to get 2 soul cores for each of those that I do. You get 1 soul core per monster that you beat in the ultimatum. The way that it works, when you have the 4-room ultimatum, you have 1 boss at the end of the 4th floor. When you have the 7-room ultimatum, you have a boss at the end of the 4th floor, and then you have a boss at the end of the 7th floor. When you do the 10-floor ultimatum, you have a boss at the end of the 4th, a boss at the end of the 7th, and a boss at the end of the 10th. There are 3 bosses that are inside of the Trial of Chaos. They are random as to which floor they appear on. So if you're only running the 4 floors, it could be any one of the 3 at any time. If you're running the 7 floors, you're going to get 2 out of the 3, but it's going to be random, and it'll be random what order they appear in. And if you're running the 10, you will get all 3. It'll just be random in which order they appear. So learning the mechanics of those bosses is definitely going to be helpful. I'm at a point where I can pretty much one-shot all of them, so the mechanics don't necessarily mean as much towards it because I just get my buffs up, my debuffs down, get my sparks flying, and before they have a chance to attack me, they're dead. It's going to take the investment to be able to get there. So this is, in my opinion, one of the best ways to do that because it also eliminates I am a instant gratification enjoyer. Not that I don't put things on the market, and there's definitely a thrill when you get that whisper and it's one of your big items. Like I had a wand that was the one that I had prior to this one, that I think I bought it for 1 div because of inflation. I sold it for 4, and the one that I have on now I paid 4 div for. So ultimately, I wound up with kind of breaking even on that, but getting that notification that, hey, I'd like to buy this, and you see one of those larger, higher price items, there's definitely a rush that comes with that. But when it comes to actually getting the currency to upgrade my character to progress through, I don't want to wait for who knows how long or continually drop the price until it eventually sells, and just the kind of randomness that goes through. There's always somebody looking for something in this game. It's a matter of you being right place, right time to actually sell it. And so if you're not right place, right time, then you kind of hit a wall and get stuck. Well, this is a way that you can make sure that you're not hitting that wall and getting stuck, that you are continually progressing, because all of your trades are going to be done through the currency exchange. And so as long as you price it smart, now there are some of them, like let's say it's selling for 12.67. I might put it in for 13 because I can afford to wait a half an hour or 45 minutes for that to pick up and sell. But if I needed those exalts right now, there's something that I want to buy right now that's going to allow me to push to go to the next one, then I'm just going to settle. I'm going to take the 12 and I'm going to move on. But you have the control of that, and it's much easier than just putting it in that public tab and hoping that somebody comes to get it from you. So again, I will check back in with you after I finish the next set of 10, and we'll see where we're at on the currency. Alright guys, we are back again after running all of the 7-room trials. Let's take a look and see how it fared. So you can see quite a few more uniques were dropped for me. Couple of boots, helmet. None of them I don't believe are terribly expensive. The Kotokos I might be able to get 5 to 10 exalt out. I haven't looked to see where they're at now, but those are a good for mid and beginning in-game spark mages because of the electrocution buildup that then winds up shocking enemies and stunning them for basically 5 seconds. Got this amulet, probably just going to trash that one. Got this one that is probably not any good. I'll just throw it in my dump tab. And then I got this one that is a good base to try to craft on. We got 2 of the Jaquanis, 1 Siddacoatl, which is one that does sell for a pretty good amount, a 5 Opalatis, 1 Takati, 2 Quippolatls, 7 Topatantes, and 1 Chelado. We also had 14 raw exalts, 11 raw Val orbs, 6 raw regals, and 12 raw chaos orbs that dropped for us. So profit-wise, actually, the 4s wound up making more just based off of RNG from having that raw divine drop. That is very uncommon and not likely at all. So I definitely wouldn't base it on that. If you take that divine out, the 7s were definitely more profitable. If you can push and you can do the 7s, then that's absolutely what you want to do. I'm going to go through now and run 10 of the 10-room ones, and we will see what our profit looks like after I run those. Now I am running them at level 80. I will start to pick up more base items in here, so like a siphoning wand would be something that I would pick up, because as you move through the rooms, the monster level increases from 80. So if they're starting at 80, it's going to increase the chance of having 81 and 82 level item drops. So 81 for wands is when you can begin rolling the +5 to skills, which is I made 7 divines off of one of those. I believe, I can't remember whether it dropped in a map or whether it dropped in the trials when I was running it, but it was a level 81 wand. I used a Essence of Electricity, hit +5 to lightning skills on that very first roll, and sold it as a blue with just the +5 for 7 divine. So it is, the higher level you can push, definitely the better, because when you can start getting those bases that allow for the additional rolls, like on the dual string bow at level 82, then they can begin to roll +2 to arrows, which then means you have their implicit that gives +1 arrow. Then you have the suffix that would give +2 to arrows, and if you're a Deadeye, you have the passive point that gives an extra arrow when you shoot as well. So it can severely raise the damage output as well as the coverage when you have that many arrows going out at one time. So let me go run these 10. These will take a little bit longer to do. They do take me a little bit longer. Probably get 4 of them done an hour, so probably about 2.5 hours I should have all 10 of those done, and we'll come back, take a look, and see what we find and how much currency it's going to earn us. I will catch you all then. Alright guys, and we are back after running 10 of the 10-room trials. During it, I was able to get the materials, enough materials to run the Trial Master twice. I did go ahead and do it. If you are wanting to build up currency, you are better off to sell those fragments than to use them. I went ahead and ran it just because because I wanted to see if I could get another Omen Crest shield, which the Mahadals, which I did, have not identified it yet. Let me go through and take a look to see how much they are going for unidentified at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and identify it because mine is not the greatest. Maybe I'll get a better one. Maybe I won't. That is okay. I would just rather take a look at it and see what I get than go through and put it up unidentified. I kind of like the idea of using something that I found over something that I bought. It just makes me feel better for whatever reason. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Right now, that shield unidentified is going for about a divine, a little bit over, actually about a divine and 50x. Let's see where the divines are at now. This is the next day after I had started on it. Just had to go to bed last night, had to go to work today, so finished up the runs this evening. And now trying to get this so we can take a look and see what I was able to earn from it. You can see right now divines are running 275, and when I'm looking on the website, they're listed for about 340 exalted orbs for that shield unidentified. So a divine and 65x, 70x on top of it. So not too bad. Wouldn't be bad to sell it at that, but also I have no idea how long it would sit there before it sold at that. I'm sitting looking at them, and it doesn't look like they're staying there too long, so probably would sell within about an hour to 2 hours. But as I said, for the video and also for myself, we're going to go ahead and identify it here. But first, let's take a look and see what we got from running the 10 floors. You can see I got 30 of the soul cores. Some of them are the more expensive ones. Unfortunately, no as kappas, so didn't really hit it too big. If one of these victorious fates would have gone through and been the got the deadly, the victorious. If one of them would have been the cowardly fate, I could have run the trial master a third time. It wasn't. I will probably hold on to these so that I can, next time I go through and I run one, I can go through. You can see that I did get a pulsarcrin ring, a couple of jewels. I honestly don't know what this helmet is, so we'll identify it and see. I do pick up boots when they drop, just because if they have a 35% speed on movement speed on them, you usually can do pretty well getting those. No raw divines dropped. However, I did have a raw perfect jeweler's orb drop. 11 exalted orbs, 18 chaos, 24 vowels, 6 chant shards, which that's another thing. I got a normal sapphire ring, so we're going to hit that with a chant shard. We'll do that right now and see if we can get that dream fragments. No luck. Donated it to the pile. So let's go through and we will tally up and see how much we got. These are the 10 that I got from running the 10 4-room trials. It's picking up what I have in my stash as well, so I need to go through and change this down. Current market on it is about 13 to 1, so that's what we're going to put it in for. I'm going to put these up at 118 and see how long that takes to go. Try to squeeze out an extra exalted from it. Let's check the Ducatis. We have 4 of those. And the Opalates, we have 2 of these. So here we are. We got the really lucky raw divine drop off. Obviously, that's not going to happen all the time, but it is good to know that even if you're running a 4-room at like I think I was in like level 45s, you can get the higher currencies to drop. They do, it's all luck, and that does happen. So we got 20, 40, 100 here, 200, 206 exalts from running 10 4-room trials, which took me in total about 15 minutes to complete. So that's not bad. That is almost a divine for 15 minutes worth, which is, in my opinion, pretty decent. If I control click them, they're going to automatically go into my currency tab because I do have, obviously they have the affinity, so they go straight there. I'm trying to keep them separate a little bit just so we can look to see. We did also have the 3 raw divines that dropped there as well. Now we'll move over and we will do the 7 run, or the 7 room. This was 10 of them, so we're going to have 20 soul cores to sell here. Head back over to Alva. Two of the Jaquanis. One of those. Five of the Opalates. And you can see these do move around, so you want to kind of pay attention. Now we saw it bounce up and down a couple of times, so I'm going to leave that one there at the 13 per, because I feel like there's a good chance it's going to bounce up again, and this is going to go through. So one of them has already gone through, and hopefully the other one will go through here shortly. There we are. Bunch of the Topatantes. Sorry it's late, been a long day, and I didn't feel like doing it in my head. So here we're at 260, 279 that we got from the 7 rooms. So honestly, with just the RNG on the cores, we did not do that much better in the 7 room than what we did in the 4 room. Now we did have 14 raw drop on the ground in the 7 room, which was the most raw divines that I had drop out of any of the ones that I did between the 4, the 7, and the 10. So they're 88 in stock for the 40 to 1, so we're definitely going to go ahead and place that, and it should complete fairly quick. There we are. Only got one of the Zolotls, unfortunately. Now, obviously not everybody is a fan of the Trials of Chaos. I prefer Chaos Trials to the Chaos Trials to Trial of Secamas. However, I am going to go ahead and do the trial of Sekimas next so that you all can see how much that can net you and get you. I personally feel like those take a lot longer to get through. So I prefer going through the Trials of Chaos. I feel like you get more drops along the way. They're a little bit quicker to get through, and it feels like there's more progress being made, if that makes sense. But that's just me. Everybody has their own preference, has what they like better than the other. So, you do what you enjoy, what you get enjoyment out of while you're playing. That's what's the most important thing, is that you're having fun while you're playing the game. All right, so we got 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, and 59 exalts from the 10 room runs. So definitely you earn more from it, but it did take me about 2.5 hours to run the 10 room. So if I was able to run 10 of the 4 rooms, and I said about 15 minutes, wasn't 15 minutes. The 10 rooms were taking me 15 to 18 minutes per run. The 4 room was taking me about 5 minutes per run. So it was under an hour to get the, what did we say? So 206 in half the time. I would rather do that, especially early. Now I will continue to run the 10 room because of the other things that you can get and that drops with it. I definitely got a lot more loot that I had to go with it. Plus, when you have it built up, you can then also run the Trial Master, which is, you have a chance for some drops that can make you more loot there. Or if you don't want to run the Trial Master, you can turn in and sell the fragments, which I will do on these fragments, just so we can take a look and see how much that actually nets us when we sell these fragments. First, we'll run over and identify these and see if any of them are worth anything. Decent roll on the mana there, a little bit low on the cold resistance, low on the cold damage, low on the strength. So this one, to me, I'm just going to chant shard it. No movement speed, so we'll turn those in. Let's take a look at this one. And that's just a 1x, so I don't think I have it. I'm going to go ahead and put it into I know the life spring is not even worth an X. Um, so get the shabby hood into my, okay, so this one here, actually, I believe if it corrupts and stays at that, yeah, you're looking at probably 100x. What I am going to do is just throw this in my 180x tab and see if anybody sends me a whisper and picks it up. It's just my dump tab where I leave it at. This one here, probably not worth too much. Just the rolls that are on it don't really go together. And I don't know, you have somebody that has one at, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it works for a witch or something like that. We'll throw it in the divine tab and just see what happens with it there. These are a couple of base materials. That's a real low on the maximum mana. I'm not even going to mess with that, so I will turn that one in. These two we'll put in here and maybe craft on them another time. Anything good on only 5 maps? Not very good there. That one is a 9 map, and let's hit it with quantity of waystone. So we're going to put that one in our 20 exalts and see if it moves. This one I'll probably throw just in the 5. It's not really that great of a tablet. And here we are. Let's go get another 180 exalts. And now this was just a dump tab. That was some old gear that I had that I have upgraded past. Put it in the dump tab and we'll just see if it sells. Here it is. It is selling. So not bad. I got my use out of it and now I'm getting 180x from it. I will take it. Got to watch people. They will try to do that all the time, so make sure that everything is in there before you just spam that accept button. You want to go through and look. Also, make sure, because another big thing that's out there now is people going through and trying to throw the alchemy orbs in and pass them off and get away with something there. These I'm going to go ahead and move into my stash so they don't get mixed in with the currency that we got from the runs. Now then, let's go ahead and sell these. I have 3 of them. They're at 29. And the market just went down. I'm going to put them there and see if they move since they were just at that. I can afford to wait a little bit on it. Now this is the expensive one, sitting at 82. And 82 right now is the top of the market. So we'll go ahead and sell that. And see, since we saw those were at 29, even though they had dropped to 27, I went ahead and put them in at that 29. So, and they moved, and they moved fairly quick. So that is another 169 that's added to the 10 runs. Let's go through. So we made 728 exalts from the 10 run, and we said that divines are currently at 276. So that's 2.7 divines, which is just over one divine per hour, since it took me 2.5 hours to run those 10 floors. Now, granted, because I would have had enough for another 80 divines from the Vicious Fate, whichever one it was, I would have had, let's say, another 280. So another divine if I would not have run the Trial Master, and would have just gone through and done those. So that is something to definitely keep in mind with that. 260, 279, so that's one divine, and that took me probably right at about an hour to do. So whichever route you go, you're going to average roughly a divine per hour. I think that what you're going to get, if you can run the 10 room trials, then I would say that you should. The reason why I say that is because the 10 run trials gives you the opportunity to the 10 run trials gives you the opportunity to let's see if these are still at about 5. Nope, they're down. I'm going to put them in the 5 and just see if they sell. Sorry, the 10 run trials gives you the opportunity for more drops on the ground. You actually can have, if you're running a level 80 inscribed ultimatum, then once you get past the first set of rooms, it can even happen in the first set of rooms. Once you get past the first set of rooms, the item levels start to go up. So if you want those good bases, level 81 wands, the level 82 dual string bows, which can roll the highest modifiers that are in the game now, so you can get the highest tier of modifiers. That's which you're looking for those level 81 wands. That's where you can get a +5 to spell skills or lightning spell skills. A level 82 dual string bow is where you can get the +2 arrows per shot fired. So that is, you definitely have the opportunity to make more of those bases just by themselves. If you have a white normal base, sell pretty decent. You can grab quite a few you can grab several exalted for each one of those bases. If you wanted to go through with some of the essences and try your luck on them, like I do with the wands, mainly because right now I am running a +4 to all lightning spell skills, so I would like to get a +5. So when I get level 81 or level 82 wands, I hit them with an essence of electricity to see if I can get that +5 to go onto it. I hit it once, and I turned around and sold it for 7 divines, so I could have that to kind of upgrade some other things. The next time I hit one of those +5s, I'm probably going to roll on it myself and see if I can't get anything out of it. This one, let's do this one with a scroll of wisdom, and let's see what we get. 651 and a 421. So usually you want to be 6 and 6. You can see on mine I am at 6 and 5. I couldn't really afford a 6 and 6 with the triple socket. And I'm not going to use a divine on it trying to make the rolls any better. So what I am going to do though, let's go ahead and hit it with a Val and see what we get. Unfortunately, doesn't look like we got anything on it. We got the 29% increased block chance with it. So it takes the block chance up to a 32 rather than the 25. Not the best corruption. Obviously, a third socket would have been the best corruption. But yeah, that kind of gives you guys an idea of what you could expect to earn running the Trials of Chaos. So if you are like me and don't have a ton of time to play, so you're now behind the curve and don't have the currency to be able to afford the items because the inflation has pushed the prices up so high, this is a great way to go through and build up some currency. It's not bad experience. It's not great experience. I want to say I was at about 60% when I started it all, and I'm at 82% now. Now, 20 of the runs were way below my level, so they weren't giving me any experience at all. Those last 10 runs, though, I picked up about 20% experience in 10 runs, so it's not terrible. Maybe not the best, but not terrible. I will take that. But it is a great way to get the currency. And another thing, when the league reset happens and everybody starts back at 0 and you're having to build your currency up, this is the place that I'm going to be building mine up at, because you can see even on the 4-room, especially once you can clear the 4-room fast, it's not bad currency that you're making out of it. Obviously, if you can run the 10-room and you can do it with 100% efficiency so that you don't lose the rewards that you had, that you've acquired along the way, that's the way to go. You're going to make the most by doing that. If you can only push through the 7s, I would go ahead and do the 7, because the extra 3 rooms doesn't take that much longer to run than what the 4-room does. But there again, you've got to be able to run it with 100% efficiency. If you are not able to complete it 100% of the time, scale back down and go and drop down some rooms. You're going to earn more and get more by making sure that you complete it and get the rewards at the end. You know, if you're only completing it 50% or 75% of the time, that's a ton of time that you're investing in, because you're usually, if that's the case, you're probably failing on the last room or the second to last room. And when that happens, all that time that you've invested into it is gone down the drain. So make sure that it's something you can complete with 100% efficiency. Once you can do that, then you can build up the currency, increase your gear, and then move up to the next level once you have your gear at that level. This is a great way to start. It's what I'll be doing after the league reset happens. I wish I would have known this in the first week that I was playing and not 2 months later, but here we are. It is what it is. That's what happens when you only get to play for a couple hours a day and not necessarily every single day. So we got to do what we got to do. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. If you found any kind of value in this, please hit that like button, subscribe. I will be doing Trials of the Sekimas next. That one's going to be a little bit more difficult for me to get through just because I am not a fan of that game mode at all. I don't mind it unless I get stuck with gauntlet after gauntlet after gauntlet trial. I hate the gauntlet trials. They irritate me. I like doing Chalice. I like doing Hourglass. I don't mind the escape trials. I just can't stand gauntlet, honestly. So hopefully when I go through and I run some of those, I can make it around and not get the gauntlets. The reasons why you would want to run Trials of Sekima is it is a great place to get your jewels. The jewels make a ton of difference to your build, to your damage, to your survivability, and to just the quality of life. So you want to have the best jewels that you can in there. That's why when you go in and you look, jewels can be crazy priced. Plus you can get the Time Worn jewels from there, which gives some really good bonuses. Like I will show you the one that I did pick up that worked for me is this one here. So I get 18% increased effect of all the small passive nodes in the radius. So this here, 17% critical damage bonus, 2% mana regeneration rate, 11% critical hit chance, 2% mana regen, 2% mana regen critical damage bonus. This one is still in it, the mana regen. So that is increasing those nodes, which I absolutely need. Plus, for small passive skills, I get 2% increased mana regeneration rate for each one of the small passive nodes that are in there. And for the notable nodes, I'm getting 17% increased energy shield from equip focus. That doesn't really do anything for me right now because I am not using a focus. I am using the Mahuatl shield. But if I do switch over to a focus to increase my damage by being able to add more spell skills to it, as long as I get one that has energy shield on it, that's going to be even more of an increase, which while I am pure mana, the energy shield converts to my mana, so that will actually give me more mana and in turn increase my survivability because my mana is my health, and increase the efficacy of the mana regen because it's a percent of the total. So the higher the total, the more regen you get per second. But that's all I have for today. I will catch you guys in the next video. Appreciate you being here with me. Again, if you found any kind of use, please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. Thank you all and take care.